everybody, this is Trish Jones, and this week I have launched 2 podcasts, and plus I've decided that I'm going to go back to my almost daily videos. And why have I actually done that? I have done it because Trish loves to talk. Seriously. I know some people are probably going to hit the back button now or the delete button and say I'm not going to sit here and listen to Trish talking, but seriously, in order to be your authentic self, you have to deliver content in a form that is most comfortable to you. And if you love to write, then write. If you love to talk, then you need to be doing podcasting or video. I prefer to talk. I can write, but I would prefer to talk than I would do video. And so therefore I've decided that I'm going to output more content in the form that is most comfortable for me. Now, you're probably there thinking to yourself, but Trish, what about those people who want to read? You know what? I will do the odd post. I don't think I'll do many anymore, to be quite honest. And I look at people like Gary Vaynerchuk, and apart from a quick update to say he's been here or there or whatever, I don't think he has any blog posts on his site. But you are more likely to attract people who are like you. And so if you're comfortable writing, then write. I don't mind writing, and I can write, but I just find it a lot easier to do video or actually to talk. So therefore the podcast was just a really great thing for me. But, you know, everybody comes out with these ideas of, this is the best way to get traffic, and today it's writing a blog post, tomorrow it's article marketing, another day it's video, another day it's podcasting. And if you chase the traffic, but you're not putting your authentic self into it, you probably won't deliver much of that content in the first place. So you know what? You just as well do content that fits you, content that you're happier with. And also as well, the one thing that you mustn't do is create content to make it fit. So going back to the question of, oh, but Trish, what about those people who love to read? Tell them to go to somebody else's blog. I know that kind of sounds cheeky. That's like, oh my gosh, Trish, you can't talk to customers like that. I don't expect you to tell them that. But seriously, if they are the more analytical type and they like to read, they like to print off, they like to highlight, they like to make notes, then you know what? Tell them to go and spend more time with those people who like to write the articles. That said, I say that a lot, don't I? That said, when you actually put your video post up, you will actually write your notes to go with your video notes, or if you have a podcast, you put your notes up to go with your podcast. And so therefore you give people the best of both worlds, but you're not going to transcribe what is in your video or your podcast. So in the main, if people want to get to the nitty-gritty of what you've said, they are going to have to either watch the video or look at the podcast. But look at the podcast? No, they're going to listen to the podcast. I'm glad I caught myself there. They're going to listen to the podcast. But I very much talk about being authentic. And as I said, being your authentic self, a part of being your authentic self is delivering content that is in the form of, that is most comfortable. Delivering content in a way that is most comfortable to you. So I want you to grab a pen and a piece of paper. I want you to put an end today to self-sabotaging your success because you're trying to create content that fits in with what everybody else is expecting of you. I want you to grab a sheet of paper and a pen, and I want you to write down what you do most. Are you the kind of person who reads more? And I say get a pen and paper. You may not need pen and paper to do this, but some people might be like, well, I don't know, I actually quite like to read a book. But given an option, if there were an audio book or there was a video and it covered everything that was in the book, would you prefer the book or would you go for the video and the audio content? You know, you've got to make your decision which it is that you're most comfortable with. And hey, if you're one of these people who love to write, love to talk, love to get in front of the video, honestly, I hail you. Do all of those things. But if for the time being you know that your success is being sabotaged because you're trying to do everything that fits in with what everybody else wants or what you feel that everybody else wants, then put an end to the self-sabotage, put an end to putting so much pressure on yourself and being like everybody else, and do that one or two things. If it's purely podcasting, then go ahead, learn how to podcast and start putting up audios. If it's video, stick to video for the time being. You can always go back to those other things later on, but get that momentum going so that at least you feel comfortable. Yes, I have enough blog posts on trishjones.com, but I honestly feel that sometimes I'm hemming myself in with trying to produce content that I feel that people really want, rather than, producing content that I feel that people want, rather than producing content that fits in with how I like to do things. And I know that that's not what you've been taught in business. You haven't. Even when I did my MBA, it was very much you chose your target market and you delivered content to that target market. Okay, and so if that target market is corporations, a lot of people will still say, you've got to write, you want to be like Inc.com, etc., etc. But the truth of the matter is, the further away you get from your authentic self, the less likely you are to be successful and be happy. And in my view, you cannot separate success and happiness. It's just not possible. So make yourself happy. Go and produce content in the way that fits you best, and the people who are more like you will come to you. And I know that that's a profound statement. The people who are more like you will actually come to you. You will attract those people. So if you don't want the corporate head on, and I'm not being funny, I don't want the corporate head. I would much rather work with solopreneurs, and as in entrepreneurs who work on their own, or the really small business owner. That's me personally. That's who I would prefer to work with. And so therefore, that's who I'm going to produce my content for. And I suggest that you do likewise.